Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us. I know you'll be glad you did because our guest speaker has a wonderful training prepared for you. I'm Rita Wolfson. I'm the founder of Financial Social Work, the Center for Financial Social Work, and I'm a national NASW pioneer. And my co-author and I had our textbook on financial social work, micro, meso, and macro practice published last month. Linda Benjamin, our relationship manager, is here with us, and Eric Saab is with us. And he is all things digital and technical. Thank you both for being with us. And I'm trying to forward this. Our guest speaker today is Alex Downey, and she has a wonderful presentation for you. Want to just say a quick hi, Alex? You're probably muted, right?
Hello, everyone.
All right. You'll have your chance in a few minutes, okay?
You got it.
Thanks. I always like to start our trainings with our financial social work affirmation. I think that it captures everything I've tried to accomplish and will continue to try to accomplish in the coming years. It goes just for today. I will love myself enough to face my tears, practice self-acceptance, and embrace hope. Silence my inner critic, speak my truth, and make peace with myself and my past. Just for today, I will give myself permission to eliminate toxic people, beliefs, and behaviors from my life and prepare for a better tomorrow by healing my relationship with my money and myself today. Few important reminders. There is no CEU for this training, but and the presentation deck will not be shared. It is proprietary, but the recording will be available on Monday, and you will receive it on Monday, and it will be on our website and YouTube channel. And if you have any tech problems, go to financialsocialwork.com and put it in chat, and Eric will help you out. I encourage you to stay with us to the end because we have a special discount for those of you who are with us today. I'd like to start off with some audience participation. Before exploring how financial social work can change the narrative for our clients' mental, emotional, physical, and social well-being in the current political climate, we should examine our personal feelings regarding the assault on our profession, our livelihoods, our dedication, and even our identities as social workers. So this is your opportunity to share with all of us how you're feeling regarding what's happening in this country and how that's impacting our profession. I actually wrote an ebook that I'll give you the link to a little later, just on this topic. Linda, is anybody joining in this conversation?
Well, if you would like to share your thoughts, please enter in the question box. And we do have several folks who say, I am very nervous and more pessimistic about the future than I like to be. How about, we have an even stronger call to duty now, more than ever.
True, true, and true. We do.
Resources are decreasing every day. Anyone else? Put your questions in the question box. I am furious, truly. There are so many barriers to begin with as a social worker, and now I think things could easily crumble around us. It makes me proactive in my approach with clients. I'm frustrated, overwhelmed, but remaining helpful. I'm a little bit worried about all the cuts. My current top-notch agency announced its closure as of July 20th. Another, very worried and concerned. I am frustrated and overwhelmed, exhausted, nervous, afraid, simply trying to find the strength. I'm a little bit worried about all the cuts. I have to fight fear and practice. Hope it's getting harder. Very scared for my clients and my community. Nervous. I try to watch or listen to keep updated, but I also have to disengage because it's so overwhelming. Okay, question. What are ways we can push to voice these concerns? It's a scary time for all of us. Our clients will need us more than ever. I am very scared. How about an opportunity to re-examine priorities and assist others with getting finances into shape? I feel as though challenges to provide service are growing exponentially. I am grateful for this resource and all of you. The future seems to be growing even more complicated for providing patient care and work with the growing modern difficulties. I share a lot of mental health resources. I am optimistic I can learn to think more outside the box. I work in a hospital. I'm concerned for patients and staff. I'm overwhelmed. I worry for the community. I am also increasing my self-care to make sure I am maintaining my own well-being while trying to help others.
Oh, that's a good one to finish up with because we have so much more to cover.
And we
Thanks.
have a lot of frustrated, worried people out there, Rita.
Understandably. And you know what I thought of while you were reading those and listening to people is maybe we need to have a forum for us to discuss this. I think I'll talk to Valerie at North Carolina and ASW. I did read, look, I feel the same way everybody feels. This is very hard. So I did write an ebook. I will give you the link a little later on in this presentation. And I think it could be helpful, although it's not going to change the reality of where we are today. So let's talk about financial social work. And I'll give you a timeline because early in the 1900s, Jane Addams, as we know, and other settlement house leaders addressed poverty, labor exploitation, and living conditions. And as we moved forward, it wasn't until the 60s to the 80s when Social Security came into being. And in 1935, social workers involved in responses to the Great Depression aligned with both holding financial hardship and social support. To be more explicit, and in the 1990s, we saw the rise of financial literacy. And in the early 2000s came the birth of financial social work as a distinct model. And we continued with the birth of financial social work as a distinct model. And then came the pandemic with mass unemployment, eviction crisis, health costs, renewed attention to financial trauma and financial intervention. Of course, then there were all of the supplemental payments and delayed payments with student loans, and people became dependent on those, and now they're mostly gone and can't be as helpful. So looking to the future for financial social work, we have much to be excited about. We want to continue professional recognition and integration, the expansion into health, mental health, and public policy, equity-centered and trauma-informed approaches, and technological innovation and access. And here you see our textbook, which launched last month. And that is certainly one of the ways that will carry us into the future, bringing financial social work to students. No one chooses to have money problems, but unfortunately, most people do. They need a lot of things. And yes, you may be thinking, oh, they need a budget. But what they really need are knowledgeable, trustworthy professionals to help them cope with their financial struggles. Should they have a budget? Absolutely. But should they and do they need a safe, non judgmental space to learn and talk about money? Absolutely. Because everyone needs someone and somewhere to share their money secrets and questions, the ones they've been denying, hiding from, or avoiding most of their lives. And that is what we do in this country. We continue to raise generation after generation of financially illiterate people. We have to do better. We can do better. So, financial social work is at the intersection of politics, the economy, mental health, climate and other able justice, gender, racial, and economic justice. It sounds like a lot, but that's because financial social work is so comprehensive on the micro, meso, and macro levels. Financial social workers are agents of financial change, advocate for marginal groups, are committed to gender, social, and economic justice. They help clients heal and deal with their money and mental health. They work to repair their own. Very important piece. Financial social work is very personal as well as professional. And I created it that way so that my colleagues and fellow social workers and all of those who become certified that aren't social workers also have the skills and the tools and the knowledge to repair their own and the client's relationship with money. And of course, we work on meso and macro levels as well as the micro level. It is a behavioral model because until and unless behavior changes, nothing changes. It's a behavioral component that engages someone and helps them understand why they need a personal spending and savings plan. And they do. And of course, it's important to identify what financial behavior is. And it is how we earn, spend, save, share, and borrow. And it works on the micro, meso, and macro levels. And that's really very important. So social workers need financial social work for all of these reasons. And you can see, prepare for personal financial stability, as well as empowering clients and serving them better. The profession needs financial social work to increase awareness of the economic challenges that clients experience. And it does enhance the whole profession. Agencies and organizations benefit from it with improved outcomes. Policymakers benefit from it in reducing poverty, advancing inclusion. There's so many ways that this very important part of social work makes a difference in people's lives. So, in the question box, what could you think of when you're up as far as symptoms? What might you be looking for? Because clients don't often come in to a session ready to talk about money. They may not even realize the financial component of the problem. Anybody sharing with us, Lynn?
Not yet.
Any ideas, audience?
We are looking for patterns of behavior. Another participant says, behind on the bills.
Hmm, hmm.
Keep a positive attitude. Depression and anxiety for not being able to pay their bills. Symptoms include depression, anxiety, not sleeping well.
Exactly, exactly,
Saving
exactly.
money is tight, large amounts of withdrawals from checking or savings monthly, trauma responses, anxiety, panic, recently lost their job, change in income, listening for fears around money, lots of debt.
But here you can see I added some, you might not have thought the shame is overwhelming. Eating disorders can be affected, self-medicating, certainly domestic violence. Okay, so let's look at some of the causes. Did you know that there is more credit card debt in this country at this moment than ever in history? And buy now, pay later is probably responsible for some of it. I've been talking about the dangers of buy now, pay later for a very long time. And in August, we have the education director for Experian, one of the consumer agencies, and he's going to be updating us. But I just read the other day that buy now, pay later will now be added to your credit scores. And that is not likely to help many people. But he has wonderful ideas, so be sure and join us for that. And now it gives me great pleasure to turn this over to Alexandria Downing, our guest speaker and presenter today. And she will tell you how, as a financial social worker and with so many other skills and talents and experience, she will share with you her ideas on using this work. Okay.
Thank you, Rita. I'm going to set myself up here. Can someone confirm that you can see my screen, please?
Beautiful. It looks beautiful.
Perfect. Thank you, Rita, and welcome everyone. My name is Alexandria Downing, but please call me Alex. I'm truly glad you're here with me today for this conversation, empathy-driven financial coaching for real life. Be real, be human, be helpful. I'm excited to share from my experience as a financial coach, speaking peer-to-peer, with individuals who deeply care about this work. Today's session is centered on a strategy I began integrating into my coaching practice that led to deeper shifts in how clients relate, not just to their money, but also to me as their financial coach. My background started in case management, supporting clients in foster care, the justice system, and those preparing for college. I had no idea then how much that experience working with clients who were seeking stability or surviving would later shape and strengthen my work as a financial coach. We're going to explore how leading with empathy, being real, being human, can create trust, spark transformation, and open space for clients to move from surviving to thriving. Today's agenda. In this session, we'll explore how empathy transforms financial coaching. We'll start by understanding the impact of financial trauma and how clients' lived experiences shape their money behaviors and even develop money scripts. From there, we'll highlight the importance of active listening over simply giving advice, focusing on building trust and creating safe spaces. We'll discuss how empathy helps make financial knowledge more relevant and easier to retain. Lastly, we'll touch on practical coaching tools that provide both emotional support and structure, allowing clients to move forward with clarity and confidence. As a bonus, I will share the resources that supported me in adopting empathy-driven coaching practices into my financial coaching sessions with clients. First, let's take a look at today's climate. Empathy is essential in financial coaching because money is deeply emotional, as we know, and often tied to stress, shame, and past trauma. In today's climate, marked by economic instability, inflation, and lingering post-pandemic effects, clients need more than just advice. They need to feel seen and supported. Empathic coaching builds trust, fosters real connection, and leads to meaningful behavior change. It respects individual stories, addresses systematic barriers, and creates equitable, human-centered financial guidance that unfortunately apps and algorithms can't replicate. So what is empathy-driven coaching? I've learned that empathy-driven coaching means centering the whole person, not just the financial issue they're facing. For me, it's not just about the numbers. It's about the emotions, habits, and life stories behind those numbers when the story comes to life. Over time, I've realized that many clients don't need a budget. They need someone who sees them, hears them, and understands the weight they're carrying. My role isn't to fix their situation, but to walk alongside them as a guide, a listener, and a support as they navigate their own path toward financial stability and growth. This approach has changed the way I coach. It's slower sometimes, more intentional, but it builds trust and creates space for real transformation. I want to hear from you. I just shared the type of clients I typically work with, many of whom are in a survival stage of their financial journey, just trying to meet basic needs and find stability. But I'm curious about you. What financial stage are your clients usually in? Are they surviving, striving, or thriving? Feel free to select your answer. And I'm going to launch the poll now. And it's launched. And I'll be taking note. Okay, we're moving along. A lot of survive, a lot of survive. Some strive, some thriving. This is great. The poll just went off. 84%. Okay, let's get maybe 5 more seconds because we're doing it really good here. Okay, 82, 81, 65% of you all voted. Let's make it to 70%. Let's see what that looks like as we collect responses here. Let's get a couple of more, a couple of more. All right, this looks good. It's staying around the 83% of your clients are in survival. Great. Thank you for completing the poll. We know that many clients care deeply or carry deep financial wounds, shame, scarcity, instability that stem from past trauma. These experiences don't disappear just because we hand them a budget worksheet. Trauma-informed financial practices recognize that money is emotional and it's shaped by each client's unique money script, which is their subconscious beliefs about money and financial behaviors developed over time. So we must ask, what has their journey with money felt like? What do they believe is possible for themselves now? How would the session shift if we met the client in that truth? What doors towards change will open? By prioritizing safety, trust, empowerment, and cultural awareness, trauma-informed practices strengthen empathy-driven financial coaching, which creates space for healing, confidence, and meaningful progress. I want to share something that really shifted the way I coach. My first instinct used to be to fix. A client would share a problem, and I'd jump right into solution mode with budget suggestions, strategies, and even to-do lists. But over time, I realized that this instinct to fix while meaning well unintentionally take the power away from the client. And here's something else I found to powerful as well. Using my senses as a coach to deepen connection. I pay attention to more than just words. I notice tone, pauses, the crack in the voice when a tear drops and develops, body language, avoidance, background noise, how a certain topic or question evoke an emotion, the worries, the fears, the repeated topic, pivot in conversation to a moment during childhood, the twinkle in their eye when they share when a goal is reached, the urge to inch the door open a little wider, revealing more of their personal story. Is their voice shaky or steady? Are they hesitating or speaking quickly? Do they look down or make eye contact? These sensory cues tell me what might be going on beneath the surface, helping me respond with greater care and presence. It also helps me stay grounded and fully present in the moment with them. I learned empathic coaching isn't about rushing to fix. It's about being fully present, listening deeply, and helping clients hear themselves in a safe, supportive space. What I've come to understand is the power of presence, of simply being there with someone in their financial struggle or uncertainty. Sometimes just holding space is more important than any advice I could give. Let's explore how active listening played a role in a session with a client whose focus shifted significantly, deepening our conversation simply because I tuned into subtle sensory cues that could have easily been missed. So here's our client profile. Single mom struggling to cover basic needs, wants to figure out a way to save money. She has no emergency saving and her car is in need of repair. She has a teen daughter that has access to the client's Cash App passcodes and steals money regularly. The daughter ran away. The client sends money as a way to stay connected. Here's the session moment. Client pauses mid-session and begins to cry. Originally focused on savings goals, shifted to exploring emotional spending patterns due to spousal separation. Uncovered a deeper issue, difficulty setting financial boundaries with daughter, trying to make up for the separation from dad. This session started like many others, focused on saving strategies, but when the client paused and began to cry, it became clear the real issue wasn't about budgeting. She was financially and emotionally tied to a daughter who regularly stole from her. Yet, she continued to send money to maintain a fragile connection. What looked like poor money habits was really a response to a deep emotional pain. The session became more about setting boundaries, naming grief, and beginning to separate love from financial entanglement. This is where empathy-driven coaching shows its strength, not in giving advice, but in helping clients name what they're truly carrying. Trust isn't earned through expertise alone. It's built through authenticity. Over time, I began to give clients more credit. Clients can feel the difference between someone who's being real and someone who's performing. Trust grows when we honor their experiences, admit what we don't know, not just as coaches. The foundation of trust is in coaching is emotional. People remember how you made them feel. Those feelings, whether good or bad, shape how open they are to sharing. I remind myself often, I'm a person too, and we can relate. Transparency, authenticity, relatability, and healthy boundaries are key ingredients in building trust. And remember, language matters. Talking about money is hard, so it's important to break the ice, keep it simple, and create a space that feels safe. Clients already know they're here for a service, so start with simply, how can I support you today? Can go a long way. As I deepened my understanding of what it means to build trust with clients, I began to see something powerful. Clients are incredibly resourceful. Through their stories and what they chose to share with me, they've weathered challenges, made it through difficult moments, and continue to move forward. My role isn't to fix or direct, but to walk alongside them for a moment, to support, reflect, pause, and remind them of their own strength. I'm just one stop along their larger journey. Here we have another case study titled Staying Grounded When Life Interrupts. This client's profile, this client was, it was a Zoom session. They wanted to create a budget from a fixed income. They want to learn how to track money consistently. And this individual provides in-home care for their adult son. The client moment, mid-session, I noticed the client breaking eye contact, glancing repeatedly upstairs because her son was upstairs. Suddenly, the client runs upstairs. Her son is having a seizure. The client returns a few minutes later. My coaching response, I gently ask, is everything okay? And the client responds, yes, my son has seizures regularly. Thank you for not panicking. You didn't add stress, and that helped. I could feel that you trusted I could handle it. Staying calm, grounded, and present created a psychological safety. Sometimes empathy is shown not through words, but through non-reactivity, respect, and quiet trust in the client's resilience. This moment reminded me that being a financial coach isn't just about just a gentle check-in. She later thanked me for not making a bigger deal or a bigger moment than it was. That small interaction built trust. It taught me that sometimes empathy looks like stillness, like letting our clients feel capable in chaos. In my experience, financial concepts only really land when they make sense in real life. I've worked with clients who don't know where their next meal is coming from. And in those moments, I've learned that starting with credit building information when they do not have any income just doesn't feel relevant or respectful. So I've had to slow down. I create concepts into everyday language using words and examples that they use. I stopped treating financial tools like control tools and started framing them around choices and freedom. I worked with a retired client who shared that as soon as she received her income, she'd go shopping and struggle to save. So much so that her eldest daughter ended up managing her money for her. She admitted feeling disconnected from her income and unsure why saving was so difficult. As we unpacked her relationship with money, she had a breakthrough. She said, I need to name my own account. I need to make it mine. I need to make it real to me. I asked, what would you call it? And she smiled and said, my Got Her Groove Back account. From that point on, every session referred to that account. She named, she branded, and she made personally meaningful. It became a symbol of ownership and empowerment. What makes the biggest difference? Connecting money to what matters to them most, their values, their people, their peace. That's where I found the real work begins. Before we keep going, I'd love to hear from you again. We all bring different tools into our sessions, and I'm curious, what are some of the tools, coaching tools, that you've used to empower your clients? Take a moment to respond to this quick question. What tools do you use most often in your coaching practice? I have a poll here, and feel free to select your answer, and I'll launch it now. So what tools do you most often use in your coaching practice? All right, goal tracking already had 50%. Goal tracking, great. We have some Wheel of Lives. This is great. Okay, some others as well. Value-based spending. It's looking like most of you are all using the goal tracker, some Wheel of Life. Okay, this is great. Goal tracker shot back up again. More people are voting. We're at 50%
Alex,
of individuals.
Alex,
Yes,
if
yes.
anybody wants to write in
Oh, yeah,
something from other, they can put it in the question box and
that'll be
Linda
great.
can share it.
That's perfect, even better. More ways to respond. Goal tracker still up there. Let's get a couple more votes in. We're at roughly 60% right now. Let's get a couple of more. What are some of the tools that you use? I may not have listed. Other might be the answer you select. All right, it's looking like Goal Tracker is the tool that is used the most often, according to this group. And that's great. That's great. And we don't have any questions as I'm seeing. Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let me close the poll. There we go. I've come to see that coaching really lives at the intersection of education and emotional support. We can have the best worksheets and tools in the world, but if a client feels overwhelmed, ashamed, or frozen, those tools don't land the way we hope they will. I worked with a client who completed the Wheel of Life worksheet. One worksheet to focus on where she is now, and the other where she would like to be as far as future state. She took her time completing both worksheets and really reflected on each area, the health, the money relationships, purpose. After we reviewed it together, she looked at me quietly asked, "Is it even possible to get to all these places I wrote down?" In that moment, it wasn't about pushing her to set goals. It was about sitting with her uncertainty. We named the emotions she was feeling: hope, doubt, fear, and reminded her that small steps still move us forward. I've learned to pair our tools with tenderness. Coaching taught me about co creating a path that feels doable, meaning normalizing setbacks, celebrating efforts, and helping clients see their progress, even when it's still unfolding. One of the biggest lessons I've learned in this work is that coaching is connection, not correction. When we show up with empathy first, we create space for clients to feel seen, not judged. And that space can change everything. We talk a lot about financial education and skill building, and yes, knowledge absolutely matters. But empathy is what makes the knowledge stick. It's the catalyst that brings trust, calms fears, and opens the door to learning. I'll never forget a client that I was working with who's in their 40s, who had never opened a checking or savings account. They were entering an entrepreneurship program and excited but nervous, especially about receiving their first paycheck. They knew that they needed a safe place for their money. The idea of walking into a bank felt overwhelming. Still, they showed up to each financial coaching session with a willingness to learn, and we took it step by step, and that trust started to build. At the graduation, the client got up to speak at the podium. In front of everyone, they shared their journey in the program, specifically with the financial coaching sessions. They paused, reached down into their pocket, and pulled out their wallet. With their wallet in their hand, they pulled out a plastic card and turned it toward me and said, "Alex, I got my debit card. Now I can put my first paycheck into my account. Thank you." We all cried in the audience. That moment reminded me our job isn't to rush people to where we think they should be. It's to start where they are, with patience, with respect, and with empathy, and to walk alongside them as they grow. That's how outcomes shift. That's how lives are changed. We've now made it to our key takeaways. Here's what I hope you remember. Coaching is connection, not correction. Empathy builds trust and allows clients to feel safe enough to grow with you during sessions. Tools are powerful, but presence is everything. It works best when paired with emotional presence and curiosity. A few other takeaways is to use reflective, trauma-informed practices. Be aware of money scripts, financial traumas that come up during sessions, and emotional barriers that show up. Last, stay grounded when life happens. Your calm, non-judgmental presence, even during disruptions, can provide stability and build deeper trust. As promised, I wanted to leave you with a little bonus, a few resources that have deeply shaped how I show up as a coach. These books help me reflect on my own mindset, shift the way I listen, and bring more empathy and depth into my sessions. Let's look at the first book, The Advice Trap. This book challenged me to pause before offering solutions and instead lean into curiosity. It reminded me that real change comes when clients feel heard, not when they're given quick fixes. Second book, How to Know a Person, The Art of Seeing Others Deeply and Being Deeply Seen. This one helped me remember that behind every financial behavior is a human story. It encouraged me to see beyond the surface and to create space for clients to show up as their full selves. The last book, some of you may know, Clants and Clants, Mind Over Money. This book introduced me to the concept of money scripts, those deeply held beliefs about money we all carry. It helped me understand why clients sometimes act against their best financial interest and how to gently explore those patterns with them. These books have helped me grow, not just as a coach, but as a person as well. I hope they spark something meaningful for you. Thank you again for spending time with me today. Coaching is sacred work, and the fact you're here tells me you care deeply. If you'd like to stay connected, here's how to reach me. Here's my LinkedIn and my business email. I'm excited and can't wait to speak with you. And Rita, back to you.
Alex, thank you so much. I think everyone really enjoyed that. I know that they stayed with you. That's a fact. So we're going to have time for Q&A. So let me just go through these last few slides about all the things we offer and give you the discount to be able to use, and then start putting in your questions if you like into the question box. Okay, so the Center for Financial Social Work has many different ways of helping the profession on every level, you individually and personally, as well as professionally. We offer many different opportunities, including these free monthly webinars, our collaborative. Let me tell you more about that. So, we do have a partner program where if you refer someone, they save 10% and you receive 10% off the price of the product. We have our wellness magazine. That's a 1 year subscription and a monthly issue of the magazine. We have our directory. It's $99 to list yourself, but our graduates get a listing for free. And we have our financial social work collaborative. That is absolutely what makes us so different and special from any other programs, because they provide, these four amazing women provide opportunities every month for networking, collaborating. As a matter of fact, they also have this planning with purpose. That final registration date is tomorrow, but it's really, if you're interested in it, you can either go to swcollaborative.com You can email me at Rita. Well, I'll have my email up in a minute at financialsocialwork.com. But you can learn an awful lot by joining this group 2 o'clock, Friday the 18th. But registration closes tomorrow at midnight. Next month, our free monthly webinar is on the next generation credit landscape, and there's a lot happening with credit, and it impacts every single one of us and our clients. And in September, we have a real treat with financial social work. Upskill your life personally and professionally. We have our new video courses, and there you see the first reference to the discount. We are discounting with that code all of our products until Monday at midnight. We have a couples and money course, a feminomics video course, and a financial social work video course. I already described these to you, these products. Here is the ebook I wanted to tell you about. I hope you will pull it off the internet for free, because in an era of political and economic uncertainty, social workers are on the front lines navigating a landscape of unprecedented challenges. And I wrote this guide with practical strategies and a path towards resilience. I was compelled to write it, and I hope you'll learn from it. Our kind of major product that we're known for is our certification. And you can see there's a 15% discount on that also. And for those of you who need CEUs, it does include 20 CEUs. A few things to remember about money is that no one chooses to have money problems, but most people do. No one can or needs to know everything about money, but everyone needs to know certain things about money. And many of them are as important, if not more important, than budgeting. Remember that connection between money and mental health. It's very real, and it's always a presence in clients' lives. And if we want to raise more money-wise, financially literate generations in the future, we must be teaching children financial literacy. Now it's the time to invite greater financial health and wellness into your practice, casework, client work, classroom. A lot of places, please invite it into your own life and become an agent of financial change personally and professionally. Do we have questions? We have time for questions, so I hope we have questions. Lynn, Eric, someone?
Alex, for you, how can we be empathetic and still keep clients accountable to their goals so they still push to move forward?
That's a good question. I think, well, I'll use myself as an example of how I still stayed present with clients. I think it's okay to be open and share with clients openly about the boundaries that you have both set for the standards of the meeting. I'm very clear on when I meet with clients, and I let them know, we agreed, these are our agreements for the meeting. I'm still here as a person. I still hear you. I still am working with you and to create a safe space and environment for you to share. But we still have items to complete. I understand that individuals want to share and be open and just, and I wouldn't say unload, but share where they're at that moment in time. But how do we almost, it makes me think about a duck on water. Their feet are going really fast and they're steering, but you're calm and cool at the top. How can you remain calm and cool, present, and empathetic at the top while still directing the conversation into a space of maybe action items, maybe even a worksheet that needs to be completed, or holding the young person, holding the individual accountable. Hey, you were assigned this item, this task. How'd that go for you? Did you complete it? What areas were a struggle? What areas were easy for you to complete? I would say even show empathy with just completing items. I think accountability can show up in that way.
Are there any other questions?
We make time for questions and there's no questions. I don't believe it.
Well, Alex, I think you explained everything so thoroughly. Any questions? Operators are standing by. Lots of thank yous come in.
Oh, that's good.
Lots of thank yous. This was great. Thank you, Alex. And also super helpful, and an appreciation for the free resources that you shared.
Yes. Yes. I thought it'd be nice to provide something tangible to take
And
away from the convo.
well, no questions, but lots of thank yous. Great
Oh, that's great.
information, very helpful, wonderful resources. Thanks to Rita and Alex. Question, can we go back to the certification cost?
It's right there on the screen.
Okay, $695.
That's 15% through Monday night.
Beautiful. And Alex, somebody has already put a hold on one of the resources that you recommended.
Oh, that's great.
There you go. There you go. In action.
Well, Alex, I'm going to thank you and say it really was an excellent training. And that's
Thank you.
clearly why people don't have questions. You covered it very thoroughly. So I thank you. I thank you, Linda, for your help, and Eric. And I certainly thank everyone for joining us today. And I hope we'll see you back here next month to learn more about what's happening in consumer credit and credit cards. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.